Hello everybody, this is Robert Nahas. I can only assume that you're really excited about writing a book and getting it published. And you should be. It's undeniable that having a successful book is a life-changing experience. It's a powerful way to create wealth, build strong customer relations, make a lasting impact, to really make a difference in the world. It's the most effective way to boom your career to a level you never imagined were possible in a way that significantly shortens the length of time it takes otherwise by getting widespread recognition, gaining instant trust, earning respect and admiration from others, creating agreement, being popular, and opening incredible doors of opportunity from the media and large audiences, groups, and societies as a whole. So no matter where you are in your career, having the right kind of book can skyrocket things for you. Maybe you want to do speaking engagements or offer inspirational and motivational or empowerment products and showing a lot of people how to do what you've learned to do well. It's so cool. If that's what you want to do, that's fantastic. Empires can be created with the right kind of book. It is completely possible to be seen as a pillar of society and regarded as someone to look to for inspiration, advice, knowledge, services, information products, or simple enjoyment with a good book, a good story to read. Whatever you want to do, differentiate yourself from the sea of competition, set up a lucrative means of passive income for yourself in your retirement, or start an entirely new career without having to spend 10 or 20 or 30 years to get to a level of power where people instantly see you as the go-to person for your niche. The doors of opportunity for authors who have great books is unbelievable. Now, this information today is too important for you to miss, so I want to ask you to turn off your cell phone. If you have Facebook open, to close it, close your Skype, any kind of interruptions that you might have. Close your door if there's a door in your room. I promise you, the information you're about to hear is like nothing you've ever heard before. There's no stone unturned as far as revealing the truth. You know, a lot of times people just offer up the friendly, happy information so that you'll buy something. But this is a truth-bearing event. So please pay attention because this is a great opportunity and you're not going to want to miss it. Okay? Let's go. Now, I want to make you aware of a problem that makes it almost impossible to succeed with a book or to build a very lucrative career, which a lot of you want to do, which is the right way to think, because if you have a successful book, if you have a really good quality book, or you're supposed to be able to do that. You're supposed to be able to build empires. But the vast majority of authors and entrepreneurs are actually failing because they have a book. I know that sounds crazy and the opposite of everything that you've been thinking all along and everything that I've been preaching for years. But it's a fact, and this is why I'm having this event today, to bring this problem to your attention. The truth is, thousands of people with important, commendable goals are falling on their faces. They're failing with their books, and they're actually destroying their own careers and their opportunities to create an empire. People aren't getting their plans done. They're not reaching their goals. They're not fulfilling their destinies. And even worse, they're doing something that is ruining the possibility for real, long-term success. I'm going to do everything I can today to make sure that it doesn't happen to you. Does that sound good? Yes, cool, awesome, let's rock. All right, cool. So let's look at some statistics. There are approximately 130 million books in the world. There are almost 1 million books on Amazon alone. And the failure rate for books is somewhere around 80%. It's very close to 82%. And the way one can define success is achieving one's goals. There are some authors that want to be best-selling authors. They want a best-selling book. Others want to sell tons and tons of books. Others want to, and this is probably the most important one in my opinion, as far as being an entrepreneur is concerned, and that is to position oneself as the top dog, the best of the best in one's niche or industry. And authors and entrepreneurs are not doing it. The percentage is so low of people who are achieving their goals that it's really crazy. And again, this is why I'm having this event today, to make you aware of it and to do something about it. Basically, these statistics are staggering, to think that there's that much competition. And what really blows me over is the fact of how many people are actually not succeeding at what should be the most lucrative, powerful way to bust open one's career and change their life. Books are very, very powerful things. So realize that you cannot follow suit with the way the mainstream line is going. You can't do what others are doing. Because if you do, the odds are that you will not succeed with your book. Okay, so this is sort of rule number 1 today. All right, you have to realize that you're going to have to do things very differently than what everybody else around you is doing. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Now, realize that this isn't any kind of a doom and gloom message, that's all just jump off the edge and give up. It's not at all. I would never do that. If I ever bring up a problem, you can rest assured that I'm going to offer up some kind of a solution. And it really makes what I have to tell you all the more exciting. The good news is I've actually isolated what is causing authors to fail today. Basically, there is a way around the problem, and you can actually be part of the 20% that are succeeding. There's no reason why you can't be one of them. So today you're going to find out what others are doing that's destroying their dreams. You're going to learn about the solution to this common problem. Together we're going to make sure that you do not approach your book in the same way that everyone else is doing who is failing, okay? This first aspect puts you on the path to success, and from there, the sky's the limit. And realize that there's nothing to buy today. I just want to make you more aware of the widespread problem and to show you how to overcome it. You will have an opportunity to receive a strategy session, which I'll explain to you later how you can get it. It's an opportunity to receive a chance to speak with a book expert who will work with you and evaluate your ideas and help you strategize and to clarify the path that you should be on, based on your goals and so on. So it's a very, very powerful and productive session that you have with a book industry expert, okay? You're able to pick the brain of a book expert, and we charge a lot for this, but I'm going to show you how to get it at no cost by being here today. That's pretty cool just in itself. Also, I'm going to tell you later about an incredible and rare opportunity that has to do with being part of something truly, truly life-changing. Some of you may be overrun with promises that are over the top, because we do hear things all the time that are over the top. But I can assure you, I'm not the type of person who exaggerates things. In fact, I'm very, very adamant about being transparent and forthright with my clients and anyone I work with or anyone I ever speak to. So when I say that what you're going to be offered later on today is going to blow your mind and is going to knock your socks off, I really mean it, because it's something that you would never imagine would be put together in such an amazing way. That opportunity that I'm going to tell you about includes actually a publishing deal. And it also, there is the possibility for a grant. And also there's an opportunity to work with me. Now, never before has a solution where you go from book idea to published author in a very short period of time has been available before. It has been available to a handful of people over the last 8 years whom I have worked with. But now I'm opening it up to a little bit larger, small group, if I can put it that way. So you're able to actually bypass all of the red tape, and I'm really, really excited to tell you about this today. Just so you know, it takes on average about 3.5 years to publish a book. So many people will tell you that you think writing a book is hard, wait till you try to publish. Well, those two things are solved, among other major challenges like writing a book, how to put together a book that is impacting and a page turner, and overcoming the overwhelm of writing a book and so on. So first things first, it's really important to become aware of the problem of failing books and know how to avoid it like the plague. Now, most people selling things, like I mentioned before, they only bring up the good stuff and they sweep the undesirable truths under the rug. They do it because they're afraid you won't buy. But that's part of the problem because they give false expectations, they forward bad practices, and they make the situation perpetuate. So they're part of the problem, not part of the solution, even though they're supposed to be offering you a solution, whatever that might be. Now, there's a contradiction of information that they use as part of their technique. Now, I'm not saying it's everyone, but I'm just ranking on the people who do. And they'll do things like I just heard the other day. The individual who was pushing his service positioned his book, which was a booklet that was well under 100 pages and only an ebook. He was then mentioning alongside of that real books, like J.K. Rowling, Malcolm Gladwell, Tony Robbins. These books, Rowling's books are close to 1,000 pages or more, right? These other books of these other authors are anywhere between 380 and 500 or 600 pages. And here's this booklet, this thing that you can't even call a book, that he was positioning himself with. So there are sort of like lies sprinkled in, or truth sprinkled in with a lot of lies. So why? Because they're selling easy. They say, yeah, write this 70-page book because that's all you need. It's bull, okay? So don't buy into it. Again, this is an event of truth, eye-opening truth. I'm about transparency, and I am 100% certain that truth empowers, and not knowing what you need to know destroys dreams. And to me, that is very, very unacceptable. So let's get some information that no one is willing to talk about. Sound good? All right. So the vast majority of authors and entrepreneurs are approaching book writing and publishing in a way that completely ignores the rules of success. All right? This is the mainstream that I'm telling you about, the majority. I tell you with great confidence that you can completely avoid making the same mistakes that thousands of authors and entrepreneurs are falling into every day. So becoming aware that there is a problem is the first step to avoiding the same mistakes. Now that in itself is very powerful. It's time to step out of line and see why this is happening. People are succeeding in a big way, but they're doing things very differently, and they're part of the small percentage. By knowing what isn't working, you can get on the right path to creating long-term success. So that's what we're going to do first today. So understand that your long-term success includes a truly impacting book, a page turner, and you can become a best-selling author if you first start out with a high-quality book. So let me briefly tell you a little about myself, who I am, what I do, and why you should invest your time with me today. Like I said before, my name is Robert Nahas. I've written close to 60 books for others as a professional ghostwriter. I'm a best-selling author and the founder and CEO of the largest literary services company in the world, Writer Services. I built my company from the ground up on a shoestring budget. And I could tell you a long story of how difficult it was to start reaching higher goals, and before that, just simply survive month to month, worrying about the bills and so on. Just to keep it short, I've been on a long road of trial and error, and I made many mistakes along the way that lengthened that runway. I experienced disappointment and failure just like anyone else, but I never gave up, and slowly I accumulated what worked. In an industry that offers no real help, training, or valuable advice about the right way to write a book and get published based on your goals, I spent the last 16 years figuring out what works and what doesn't. Results speak for themselves. We help clients to get published and oftentimes become best-selling authors and reach other incredible life-changing achievements. And in short, I and my team of experts write and edit books. We work and coordinate with clients to reach their highest goals by exploding their careers. We do that quickly through exact book marketing campaigns and other activities. We help through mentoring and done-for-you services to establish our clients into powerful positions in a relatively short period of time. Now, along the way, in the early days, which are back in the late 90s, I saw that my clients did not know what to do once they received their manuscript. Now, I would write a phenomenal book with and for them, but then their eyes would sort of gloss over, and there would be this deafening silence either in front of me or over the phone, which would be like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? So at that moment in time, I realized that I had to take full responsibility for my clients and actually for the industry. No one was offering information of any value. And that in itself was causing authors to walk through a maze of uncertainty, not knowing what the heck to do or how to do things correctly. And what I did was I slowly and painfully and meticulously built a team of very talented, passionate writers, editors, proofreaders, cover designers, and other experts, marketing, book marketing, and so on, and brought them together all under one roof. And that in itself was a major improvement for the industry because the industry was very disconnected. There were editors that were not in communication with proofreaders and cover designers, and you'd have these people all over the country and all over the world who were working on a book, and no one knew what the other was doing. So it's like one hand didn't know what the other was doing, and it was really crazy. So there's an amazing solution for authors and entrepreneurs when you have everyone in one place. That way, each step of the way, one doesn't have to go out and find a writer and then find an editor and then find a proofreader, if they even know to do that. And each time risk their project to a charlatan, somebody who's not as good as they say they are, and so on. So bringing all the needed aspects, creating, publishing, and marketing books into one place has allowed everyone on my team to know what everyone else was doing on a particular project. It was very, very powerful, very exciting stuff. And it allowed everyone to be aligned. It put a stop to conflicts of goals. Quite often you would find an editor that was undoing something that a writer did and going in a wrong direction and so on. So there was a lot of conflict and lack of accord without realizing it. It was just the way things were. So I removed the possibility of misalignment of goals when there was a procedure for everyone to be aware of. There had to be a basis of information that everyone knew. I'm going to tell you more about procedure in just a little bit, but just know that now it's possible for everyone to be in good communication and working together toward the same goals. It's a beautiful thing. My success has come from helping others to succeed at admirable causes. Doing this not only has let me live a rewarding life and love my job, but the payback has been significant on a number of levels. So that's what I do. I help others to help others. And I believe strongly that if you do the same by helping people to overcome challenges or succeed at their goals, you'll likely see the same kind of success and happiness that I have. And I truly wish that for you. The bottom line is, I'm willing to share my experiences with individuals who are serious about making a positive difference in the world. And that pretty much sums it all up. So I hope I wasn't too lengthy on that for you. The name of this event is The Breakthrough Process for Overcoming the Overwhelm of Writing and Publishing a Book. The secret behind solving the problem so you can create and publish an interesting, page-turning bestseller that makes a huge impact. This speaks volumes of the kind of book that's needed and what it can do to change your life and enhancing the lives of others. You want an impacting, page-turning book, and you want it to be successful, right? course. So today we're going to make sure that you never fall into the trap of frustration and failure like so many people are doing today. Sound good? All right. So this is how you're going to stay clear of the mistakes that so many others are making. It's already been established that book authors are faced with a very difficult situation, which is the majority of books are failing. Authorship is a field where a lot more people should be making a big impact and making millions. So understand that. This is a serious problem that is inverted, it's crazy, it shouldn't be, but it is rampant. It took years, but I finally figured out why so many people were failing. After speaking to thousands of people, coupled with a lot of research, I found that the vast majority were approaching their book projects without a sound, effective process for writing their books. Things were being done haphazardly. The number one reason for failing authors is poor quality books. Now, if we dig deeper, we find that these books fall short of being impactful. And underneath that, we find out why that is, and it's because there is either wrong procedure or no process at all. Things are just being done haphazardly. And underneath that, authors have missing information, so they're uninformed. It's not obviously being done on purpose. There is missing data. So there is great power in having a process, a procedure that works. And here's a great definition of process. It's a series of calculated actions directed toward a particular goal. So realize, you can see right off the bat that there is a lot of control. So there is calculation, direction, and something to attain. This is very, very powerful stuff. Versus throwing mud on a wall or spaghetti on a wall or whatever. It doesn't work. So realize that everything that we do has a process. Whether it's getting a drink of water or baking a cake, there's a process to everything. And there are better ways of doing things, and often ways of not knowing how to do things, but just doing them randomly or without any great control or calculation or direction. Without a process, there is no control, only random, purposeless, unguided actions without foresight or expectation. With a process that works, you become able to take correct, decisive action in a logical, step-by-step manner while knowing what the expected outcome should be. That's extremely powerful. With a process, you are also able to take corrective action when things don't turn out as planned. It's a built-in fail-safe. If we don't know what to do, how to do it, and why we're doing it, we're performing the activity robotically and without purpose. And without a proven, calculated procedure to follow, there is no directed effort and no achievable goals for what you're doing. There's just random activity. This is interesting stuff if you take a look at it. This is fundamental power. So many people are needlessly failing with their books because they have no proper procedure on how to write an impacting book. Failing books is not only a widespread situation, it devastates people's careers when they allow it to happen to them. Why? Because it makes them look really bad, unprofessional, and unintelligent. What's crazy is that most authors make this mistake because it's so common. No matter where we turn, we see people haphazardly writing books without enough thought, planning, skill, and knowledge on exactly how. Approaching any activity without a process causes confusion, unnecessary difficulty, and overwhelm. That's the simplicity of it. It produces poor, bad, or no results. It's like taking a 747 up before getting the know-how beforehand. And regarding our books, to make things worse, others recommend to write books and publish the wrong way, whether they're friends, colleagues, gurus, whatever. Let me say this again. The way most people are writing their books today is wrong. And one after another, people continue to fail in volume. Now, most people attempt to write a book without being certain on what to write about. This and other things cause them to freeze up. Or even worse, they end up with a really poor quality end product. Just to give you an example of how bad things have gotten, I'm going to tell you about the spaghetti story. Meet Bob. He's a client of mine. Well, this isn't Bob, it's a cartoon of Bob. But he really is a client of mine. This doesn't look anything like, but anyway. A recent client of mine had previously hired a professional book writer to help him write his book. He knew so much about his subject, having been in his industry for, I think, about 35 years, that he had no idea what he should write about, what should be included and what should not be included, and so on. So, unbelievably, his writer suggested that they, as she put it, throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. Now, if that isn't haphazard, I don't know what is. But they spent 2 years going in circles. They never figured out what his book should be about, and he got nowhere with his book. The only result was to be more confused about it all. In one sense, this horrible occurrence was a godsend because if a book had been produced, it would have been poorly written and going in circles and so forth. It was really good that they weren't able to get through with it. But on the other sense, 2 years later, here Bob stood, frustrated, thinking that it was impossible to write a book and so on. Even with investing a lot of money to get his book written, he would have destroyed any chance of achieving his goals, which was to be a highly sought-after speaker, among other things. Luckily, he didn't get anything done after 2 whole years. If they had actually put something together, just like most people are doing today, Bob would have destroyed his chances of creating the kind of success and life that he wants, which is a life where he can help others to succeed with his knowledge while he earns a respectable income from it. Why did this happen? Because they had no process to their book writing approach, no direction, no focus, no known goals or understanding of why this book should even exist, and no logical procedure. This is no rare occurrence. It happens all the time with most authors and entrepreneurs. The bottom line is, things have gotten way out of hand in this industry. It's gotten so bad that it's even spread into the professional realm for a lot of professional writers, where they also have begun to think that the worst way you could ever possibly write a book is the right way. To be honest, for a great many writers that I've met, most don't even know that there is a process or think they need one. But without question, they absolutely need to follow a very specific procedure. It's mind-blowing to think that this could be even happening, but it is. And it's alarming to think where we are headed unless we put a stop to the insidiousness of what ignorance and popularity can do to a field of art. In this case, what it can do to books in general. Just know for the moment that you want to stay completely clear of what everybody else is doing. In fact, you want to do the opposite of what the majority is doing. Just remember, without the proper procedure on the way to effectively do something, there is no direction, planning, strategy, or workable procedure. There is just random thought and motion, only guesswork and presumptions. Okay, so we've established that the great things which should be happening for authors with books are not happening. Success, wealth, making a difference, helping others, and so forth are not being achieved by the majority of aspiring authors and entrepreneurs. One of the biggest reasons for this is without proper approach to writing a book, books end up falling short of their intended purpose. If their authors are lucky, they end up with a mediocre end product, which is not good enough. In fact, it's a waste of everyone's time, including the readers. The typical books being written today do not create an impact upon the readers, and therefore not upon the author's career either. If you're wondering how this could have happened, here's a significant reason why the level of quality for books has fallen so far. The key points of the book writing process have, for the most part, never been understood, and that's a really scary thing. Things like purpose, intention, planning, strategy, proper procedure, quality, reader reaction, and other equally important things are not being applied to the way aspiring authors and entrepreneurs put together their books. It's like trying to bake a wedding cake for the first time and not having the recipe and the technique on how to make it. the information is inadequate, and the result will always be disastrous with every try because it won't make the grade. Try is such a key point here. No one should be trying. You need to be applying a workable procedure. The truth is, the actual activity of book writing has never, to my knowledge, been put into a structured process before. Understand that the success potential with a book is mainly from its information, the way it's presented and conveyed, and how well it resonates with its audience. Yet we hear all the time from non-writer experts that the way to approach your book is by throwing the information together fast as possible, with the least amount of effort as possible. This erroneously suggests that your book's contents aren't all that important, which is about the most absurd thing you could ever utter. Avoidance of the essential elements that bring your information to life, like thought, decision, purpose, intention, is a death sentence for books, and it's game over for its author. With an actual step-by-step process on approaching a book the right way, you become even more stable in never falling into the failure trap of popularity. And it allows for the creation of an effective, proven, logical procedure of steps to be taken. I figured out what steps needed to be done so that the greatest possibility for success with a book were actually possible. Without question, writing an exceptional book is the first most important thing you can do. So what to do for doing it the right way were developed. Now, beyond knowing what to do, the steps, there is how to do something for greatest results. With an actual step-by-step process on approaching a book the right way, you become even more stable in never falling into the failure trap of popularity. It took many years to perfect, but I did it. And I've seen incredible results for my clients now. And this is what we use in my company too. This procedure is the very reason why so many of our clients have become best-selling authors. So, having the process of what to do and the guidance of how to correctly and effectively put your book together and publish it is priceless. I could give you the steps today of what to do, but it wouldn't be enough. Like with anything that requires a high degree of expertise and skill to accomplish, without adequate guidance with each step, it's like being given a manual for the procedure of brain surgery without the know-how of guidance. The best guidance for something as skilled as book writing comes through mentoring. Just like learning karate, it takes exact, specific, detailed instruction from an expert who is excellent at what you're learning. Understand that if each step of a process is not done perfectly to the fullest degree, the outcome will fall far short of the desired goal. It's just that way with writing a book too, probably more so than anywhere else. The procedure on exactly how to do the steps is the key to having a very successful book, one that changes your life. It's actually an involved evolutionary process of decisions, conclusions, and realizations that need to be simplified through step-by-step guidance. So it's not simply following actionable steps. It also requires a subjective mental process, which is something that needs expert guidance in a mentoring capacity to bring out the correct, fullest answers and realizations for yourself. Knowing how to do something is most important. It's the power of exact procedure. This exact procedure done fully and completely, getting all that it has to offer, makes the difference between having an average book and having one that impacts lives and positions you as the best. That is where your life begins to change. Books offer the most powerful form of communication for influencing large audiences. You don't want to fall short of what you should be gaining from a really good book. It can change your life and the lives of others. In all honesty, it would be better for you not to attempt publishing a book unless you were going to do it the right way. For one thing, coming out with a poor or average book has negative consequences because of what it says about you to others. So I'm really excited to announce to you today that I've decided to take a few individuals to be shown how to write their books in the exact same way that we do in my company using my breakthrough process. I want to put together a small, select group of individuals and work with them to get their message out and fulfill their commendable goals. I want you to be enlightened on the right way to write an awesome, impacting book. Those selected are going to be shown how to have a successful book that's a game changer for your life in a simple and much more affordable way than what it costs to have a book professionally written. Getting a worthwhile book written by a truly talented, skillful, exceptional writer, which is the only kind of writer you should ever use, can easily cost between $50,000 and up to six figures, depending on the writer and the length of the book and so on. So showing you a much more affordable way to have a life-changing book would be a plus point. I think we'd all agree on that, right? Cool. I'm talking about if you know the procedure, then you can write your book. And whether you're a Pulitzer Prize-winning writer or not, you're going to be able to put your book together at least the best way that you can. From there, your book may need some rewriting, may not, and then some, of course, editing and then proofreading, because that's the process, no matter whether you're James Patterson or J.K. Rowling or whoever. One's book always needs to be edited and proofread. But you can avoid a great deal of the writing process and save yourself tens of thousands of dollars in that way. It's very, very exciting. And even if you don't want to write your own book, you still need this procedure in order for your book to be all that it should be. So this process is necessary no matter what. And once you go through this step-by-step enlightenment process, where no stone is left unturned, you become so clear and aware of what your book should be about and so forth, that you are then able to write your book. It's really important to understand that the right way to write a book is becoming a lost technology. If you don't know what to require of the writer that you hire, or of yourself if you're the writer, there's an 82% chance that you're going to fail with your book according to measurable statistics. I don't want that to happen to people like you who have commendable goals. I want you to be empowered with the necessary knowledge so you can't fail. You have to remember that my purpose is to help others to help others. That's my game. Imagine for a second that things go so far that no one remembers how to give change back from a purchase, and then we lose electricity. New technology has been killing the basic technologies for decades, but the basic technologies require our intelligence and capabilities, and those things we cannot lose. We cannot lose our intelligence or capabilities. Those things don't require electricity or artificial computer intelligence. Now imagine that books continue to become less relevant and useful, and their level of quality continues to drop decade after decade. It's very important that we never lose the ability to convey our thoughts, knowledge, experience, and ideas with the written word, especially with books. Videos and audios are a helpful part of education, but they're not the end-all by any means. They only do best by supporting what's in writing. The written word allows society to assimilate information at the pace each of us needs to, at the pace that we move along at. We're able to look up words we don't know the definitions of. We get to stop and think about how what we're reading applies to us personally, or how we could use it in a certain way for bettering something. We're able to stop and go, reading and absorbing at our own pace, and refer back to certain points as we need to. And you as the author are allowed the necessary time that's needed to build priceless things with your readers like trust, understanding, confidence, strong interest, desire. What's interesting is that with a book, people are willing to give you the most time than in any other way of life. It's unbelievable. With a video or a web page or a promo sheet or a billboard, you've got about 3 seconds. But with a book, the book buyer has already committed to as much time as is necessary for absorbing all of your information. That's an incredible thing to realize. And it's a powerful thing to know as an entrepreneur and as a thought leader and as someone who wants to improve conditions in the world. The reader is yours to lose. If your book is not an interesting page turner that impacts the reader's lives, they will put your book down. But if it is an interesting page turner that impacts the readers, your life will change forever because you will change their lives. Do you see the power in having the right kind of book? How important it is. It's life-changing. So I'm extremely passionate about not letting the quality level of books deteriorate. I want to reverse the downward trend that we've been experiencing over the past 30 years. It's moving exponentially now with the simplicity of self-publishing technology. Not only is it important that we adequately share our knowledge, experience, and talents to others, you as an entrepreneur or aspiring author are losing out on one of the greatest opportunities to change your life forever. We as aspiring authors get inundated with bad information that sends us in circles with no idea where to even start. From every direction, there's conflicting data on how you're supposed to write, publish, and market a book. But it comes from the majority who are failing at it and who know nothing about what they're doing. So it becomes a copycat situation where newcomers copy what others are doing, and it becomes a contagious stream of the thing to do. Understand that the majority of authors and entrepreneurs are doing things the wrong way. I've said it before, but I have to repeat this. Understand that people are telling you to approach your book in a reckless fashion. I strongly believe it's part of the reason why so many people are struggling to achieve their true success and happiness. This directly applies to being an author. There are too many entrepreneurs with great ideas and a willingness to make a positive difference who are sabotaged by having bad books or can't get their books written. I don't want commendable goals to be stifled. Your mission is too important. Our mission is too important. We as entrepreneurs and aspiring authors have great value to offer the world through our knowledge, experience, and talent. We don't want our technologies to become lost. The world needs our help. This image may seem a bit dramatic, but the truth is, it really does portray the way people really feel when they're in the middle of their own personal crises or challenges that seem impossible to overcome. People endure suffering on a daily basis simply because they haven't been shown how to rise above their challenges. But there's no doubt that each of you know what they need to know, or they're struggling to achieve a goal that you already know how to achieve. Or maybe you have a great idea for a fictional book that would give some entertainment and relief to their daily grind, or would inspire or teach something in a roundabout way through a story. Don't shrug it off and think that someone else is going to do it. We are the ones who can educate, inspire, give some quality to the lives of others. So you can see why I'm so passionate about this. And it explains briefly why I've made it my life's work to bring the standard back up for books. We do this through my company with Done For You services and one-on-one mentoring. But not everyone can afford our fees of top professional writers. Even the one-on-one mentoring is not cheap. These rates make it difficult for many great individuals who should have a book of their own. So I came up with a way to bring more people into the fold, to be able to afford this amazingly powerful process through a small group setting. Now, this isn't a cheap, half-baked, trip-to-nowhere program designed for selling to thousands of people like we see so often. Those programs are tailored to be priced so that just about anyone will buy them without too much pain. But they're also designed to not offer that much because they're so cheap. What's important to know is that, like climbing a mountain, the higher you get, the more treacherous it becomes. The same goes for success. The risks feel riskier, and the demands of you are more demanding. This is not a first level or a lower level or a 101 program. This is actually top of the top, cream of the crop program that is a life changer. This is not a program for anyone who wants to dabble in their success. It's for those who are very serious about making an enormous leap forward in their lives, in their careers. I want to personally show a few serious individuals how to bypass the noise and false information and remove the uncertainty and confusion so you can make a success of things with your book and allow me to do my part in helping to improve the status quo out there. It's a total win-win. All I want you to do today is fill out a form to apply to be part of this select group. But before you do, I only ask that you take a sincere look at yourself and decide whether you're serious about doing something significant to actually begin creating the kind of life you've always pictured for yourself and your friends and loved ones. So let me ask you all here today, are you willing to make a big commitment, to make a big impact? Wow. Okay, cool. Good. Well, thank you so much, guys. Okay, I'm going to open up the application process in just a second. So be ready to go to the URL that comes up on the screen. But before I do, I really want to validate you for staying with me today. It shows that you are serious about making a difference and having a book that impacts lives and the world in general. So once you fill out the application that I'm opening up right now, you're going to be able to speak with a book expert at no charge who will work with you, evaluate your ideas, and strategize with you. This is very, very valuable. But as a warning, the form has to be filled out completely. No partial applications will be considered. So please be specific in your answers and respond to each of the questions, okay? The reason for this is I only want to work with individuals whom I know I can help with making their goals come to fruition. So along with a serious commitment, there also needs to be good alignment and synergy. And I'd like to up the ante here by letting you know that I will be the person who gives you the one-on-one strategy session, but only for the top selected applicants. So please be as detailed as you can in the form. With running 2 companies, I don't have enough time to speak with everyone, and my author consultants will do a fine job just the same. I've always been successful in putting together groups of incredible individuals the few times that I've held this program in the past. And part of that successful action is to be very selective and to make sure there is synergy and so forth. And it's a very powerful environment where the collective intelligence and experience of everyone adds incredible quality, essence, and shared input that you can't even get one-on-one. It's a very, very powerful group. Just listen to what a client originated in a mentoring session.
You know what's happening here is we have 2 great minds. We have 2 great individuals here, in you and I. And so together we're bringing our experiences and our wonderful, souls and so forth, and interacting, we're creating something greater. Isn't it beautiful?
It is awesome, and I'm going to remind you again by way of encouragement as you encouraged me. Man, I prayed, and there's a long time coming that, and I mentioned to you in my initial interview that I had sought out several people and several others, didn't know anybody, but put calls, sent emails, and so forth. But you were ordained for us to do this project. I without no question in my mind, because I pray, I said, I need, you know what I need, you know who I need, even if I don't know who they are. But I need someone that's going to be able to be genuine, but also be able to take what I am unable to say and put down on paper form and pull out of me what I really, really want to say. And you have not failed yet, Robert. Every time we speak, you have not failed yet. Everything you've said and so has really, really resonated with me. Something that I want to put on paper to be able to, in fact, affect, inspire, motivate, and transform anyone and everyone who takes up this book to read. And, man, you are absolutely right. And so I'm not surprised at that. I'm excited by the fact that you know it too.
Thank you so much. It just never gets old. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I mean, it really is what has to be done. And yes, it is rare, but it's what needs to be done in this process, so that there has to be a really close communication between author and writer or mentor, and that bringing out process is unique and difficult to do in most cases, but you can see it flows very easily.
I feed off your excitement. I'm glad that in you, you are able to articulate and pull out of me what otherwise will be just hidden inside and not really understanding how to get it out. But to the latter, even though we're writing and typing, but writing and everything we've said is certainly more of the spirit in me in regarding this book, not knowing how to get it out. And I thank the Lord for you, because we do feed off on one another very well. But more than that, let me say that everything you say is I'm never on the other end of this phone frowning, saying, no, that's not what I felt. That's not what I feel. That's not what I'm thinking. Quite the opposite.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know that. And it really is my job to do that. It's as one of the top writers on this planet and a person who can think in that way. And then just as an individual who is deep, I can help to bring it out. And that's what I achieve to do. That's what I want to do when I work with people in the mentoring realm, is to make sure that it is brought out, and
awesome.
That's where the guidance really makes a difference, and I was just mentioning in the webinar how you can have a list of instructions of what to do, but if you don't know how to properly do each of those steps and get the full capacity of what each of those steps is supposed to reap for you, you're going to fall short. So yes. That guidance factor is the key. It's not just a recipe. It's the guidance of how to apply it correctly, right?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I do, and because I find it very, very valuable, and I appreciate your time, and I know the Lord led me to the right person for this time and what I'm doing and what I really feel strongly that He wants me to do, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you for appreciating me. That means a lot to me, and it really makes me happy. So,
well, I appreciate you. If for whatever reason our paths cross right now, I think you've done great things for me in clarity and opening up my mind and so forth. But I appreciate you. I've been mighty lifted just by having you steering and probing the right, asking the right questions for me, helping me formulate some concrete words down, more than words, but really come from my heart, what I really felt and mean and tend to do. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. You deserve all of my help that I can give you.
Thank you. Continue impacting people like you've impacted me so far.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, this is a program of guidance through mentoring that makes it possible for you to have an impacting page-turning book with bestseller potential. This all becomes possible by determining very important things that you absolutely need to realize in order to write a compelling book. Things like clarity, stability, and empowerment come as a result of a specific, precise decision-making process. Truly, no stone is unturned in what needs to be discovered. It covers everything you need to be very clear about your book and where you're headed yourself. So I've opened up the application process, and this is a first-come, first-served basis. And if you've ever wanted to speak with somebody knowledgeable, this is your opportunity to get you going in the right direction towards your book's success as an author. So whether you're accepted for this program or not, your strategy session will be extremely valuable to you. So be sure to fill out every point in the application form and do it as quickly as you can. While a lot of you are filling out and submitting forms, some of you may have some more questions. So I'll share some more information with you about this program. A book expert will show you exactly how to run through this powerful book writing process. Now, as I mentioned, that expert will be me in this next program that we're going to do. This process ensures that you have the greatest opportunity to develop the best book ever possible for creating the greatest impact to your life and the lives of others. This mentoring program makes all the difference. Whether you want to write your book yourself or have it written by a professional, you absolutely need to do this process first. The more properly you apply this, the better the results will ultimately be for your book. And with me mentoring you on this, you will bring things to the fullest extent. Not only will it make the book writing process faster and easier, it puts you in control and knowing exactly what your book should be about. I'll work with you on the very procedure that will enable you to write your own book or put it together in a way that will set yourself up for long-term success beyond expectation. Whether you want to retire from your current career and have a steady income, you want to start a new career, or explode your current business, the sky's the limit when you have an impacting book, and that's what this program is all about. It's the kind of book that's not created haphazardly, like I explained in the beginning of this event. And you can't just put together some information and publish it. It just won't work. It'll flop. It takes having a crafted book that influences large audiences. Great thought has to go into it. Specific things have to be considered and determined. And then you have to follow certain thought-provoking procedures to bring out the desirable results. Again, this is not done by simply putting together information in book form. It's so much more than that. It has to be. That's where most authors and entrepreneurs completely miss the boat. And that's not going to happen with you. They may have good information, but their information does not create an impact. We're going to remove the falsehoods of book writing by coming to learn this very powerful process that makes the difference between having a good book and having a great one that changes lives, your own and others. My program has additional information above and beyond what I shared with you earlier. Things like publishing options, the pros and cons, and just as important, how to stay clear of really bad ways of publishing, which most people are doing. It's crazy, but true. You're also given information on the 3 things that must be done effectively to succeed as an author with your book. That in its own right simplifies things greatly because you're able to take your attention off of the many things that you're told you need to do when you actually don't. It clarifies what you need to do and what you don't need to do. It stops you from wasting time and money and so on, and spinning your wheels. And as I mentioned earlier, I am going to be the one who delivers this program to you. So the sooner you fill out the form, the greater the chance you're going to have of working with a seasoned professional ghostwriter and industry expert. And you're going to be able to have a book that's a game changer for you. You can have the kind of book that has true potential to become a bestseller, can boost your business or career like nothing else you've ever seen. It can allow you to get paid the kind of money you're really worth. It can open exceptional doors of opportunity, and this kind of book creates results to your life and career beyond expectation. It's the kind of book that positions you as one of the best authors of fiction or a respected expert entrepreneur, the best of whatever you want to be to others. You could even set yourself up for being a highly sought after speaker, whatever it is that you want to go for. This amplifies things for you. The power of having a great book published of your own is something you can't put off any longer. It's too valuable for you and others, so don't put this off any longer. It's one of the best win-win scenarios you will ever find in your life. Whether you want to be an author for a living or an entrepreneur with your own products or services, having this kind of book is the catalyst that makes your goals more attainable with less effort than you ever thought possible. A lot of forms have come in already, and I really want to thank you so much for that. This is really awesome. It's so exciting to know that so many people want to make a big difference. It's just incredible. Thank you. And I encourage anyone who hasn't yet to please fill out the form. I really do want to know about you and what your plans are and what you want to achieve. It's a life-changing experience, and you become able to directly influence your life and success in a precise process that makes you certain and unstoppable in achieving your most extreme goals to gain heightened awareness, understanding, simplification, certainty, stability, vitality, and excitement about your success, your career, and of course your book. We're talking about your greatest goals. That's the magnitude of this program, and that's the magnitude of having a book that is powerful. It'll make things crystal clear and your vision expansive by knowing exactly what you are going for and why. This procedure alone changes people. Most everybody who does this step experiences a resurgence in their life. And this is why the guarantee that I have for this program allows you to go through the first module. And if you're not completely impressed, blown away, and confident that you are in good company, you can request a full 100% refund. These are decisions that you need to make, the ones that really matter. This is the first step in developing focus so that you can actually have an exciting game that causes you to bounce out of bed every morning. Just as exciting and important, this step will give you more drive and determination than you'll know what to do with. And during those times where things are tough, during the lows where you feel down and out and things are impossible and so on, this step will make it possible for you to just blow right through it, just to plow right through it. It enables you to extend far beyond your current degree of influence outward into something so significant it allows you to positively impact the world or an area of it while opening greater doors of opportunity because of this expansion. Just remember, extreme influence breeds extreme success. This module alone, by itself, changes lives. But being energized, excited, and knowing where you're headed alone is not enough to succeed. It's about a holistic approach and not just having one facet that is awesome. You have to have everything under your control, and then you can really make things happen. So beyond being really blown out and excited, right? Really just like 9 feet tall, you need to be clear about your book and what it should do, how it should be effective, the results it should cause. This next step gives multiple perspectives you wouldn't even think of looking at. And by being aware of them, your book gains incredible potential. And this is a huge secret to us writing so many bestsellers as we do. And you're going to learn it. You're also able to determine the exact information that should be included in your book so that you don't fall short in having your book fulfill its reason for existing. Information itself is lifeless. You have to present yours so it's impacting. There's a way to do that. There's a way to present information so that it really impacts people's lives and blows them away. Gets them off their chair, gets them on their feet. You'll also know what information not to have in your book. A lot of times, information can water down things that doesn't belong in there. And it can confuse readers. It's like, what is being talked about here? It gets people frustrated and stuff. And they throw your book down and they don't finish it. So one way you'll stay clear of messing up, like so many people are doing, is by knowing what not to include in your book. And really present your information in a way that just keeps people peeled to the page. So you are not going to let this happen where people become upset with you, because you're going to know how to present your information. You can have the information that's worthy of being in your book, and it's going to be to the point, factual, clear to understand, and so forth. There's so much more that we do, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of the gains that you get. When I was putting together this program, I looked at all aspects of where someone could fall flat on their faces, and I made sure that that wouldn't happen. And between having the knowledge and the proper application of my process, you get things like the powerful process that jumpstarts intense passion, instantly builds unwavering determination, and ignites unbeatable drive that makes you unstoppable. You get to know exactly what you're doing, how your book needs to be to be effective for forwarding your specific goals and creating the kind of effects that you want to create. Knowing when you should start letting others know about your book. I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest flubs that authors do is promote at the wrong time. The worst possible time you could ever promote your book, they do it. I'm going to tell you when you should do it and what is ideal, and it'll make a huge difference to your success. You'll know what you should do at the same time that your book is being written. It's not just writing your book. There are other things that need to be done concurrently. They have to be if you want to succeed. You'll learn what the effective things are that you need to establish online so you can become more real to people, and the things that you don't need to do that are huge time wasters. You'll learn how to quickly determine the best publishing option for yourself. You will know without question, and you will answer this for yourself. You'll get what the necessary phases are required for creating a manuscript that is ready for publishing. How you can and should start selling your book before it's completed. What to expect of publishers and what they expect of you. The covered up secret behind making a lot more money indirectly from your book, and a whole lot more. I'm telling you, this program is for authors and entrepreneurs, and it's not just having a good book, it's understanding what you should do. And of course, the more specific things about your book, like you need to know about the importance of how to fine-tune the table of contents, how to best compartmentalize your book in a way that readers expect. Readers have expectations. The importance of properly using headings and subheadings, how to start a chapter so there's no way the reader will ever put your book down without finishing that chapter. And then how to finish off a chapter so there's no way the reader will put your book down without reading the next chapter. It's pretty cool. You'll learn about writing chapter synopses that will make absolutely sure that each and every chapter fulfills its purpose in molding and influencing your readers, and other invaluable secrets. I will guide you every step of the way so that you understand exactly how to put together an amazing book. And then you will be able to go off and do that, or you'll take your information and bring it to a professional writer to have them write it. And you'll be in control and understand everything and know what to expect and so on. I share it all with you in a very small group atmosphere, right from the comfort of your home. All you need is an internet connection. You become stable and confident by knowing the secrets that most authors have no clue of. I also mentioned earlier on that I would share with you a very special opportunity that had to do with publishing. If you talk to most authors, they'll tell you that after writing a book, the most difficult thing to do is get published. To find an agent takes on average about 1.5 years, and then for that agent to go out and pound the pavement to find an interested publisher can take them another 1 year or 1.5 years. And then if a publisher did become interested, it can take about 2 years for them to actually publish your book. So it can become very discouraging. But just the same, being published with a traditional publisher's insignia on your book is powerful and gives you a great deal more prestige. You know, it's a bit of a catch-22. Well, with my program, you have an amazing opportunity to bypass all of the time of finding an agent and then finding a publisher and then getting your book published and so on. All of the red tape, you know. And here's how. With the success that we've had with past clients and the great reputation that Writer Services has, each graduate of my program is going to have their manuscript considered for publishing by an eager acquisitions editor of a publisher. And instead of taking 3 or 4 years to publish your book, it can take roughly 4 months from the time that your manuscript is ready. Truly, truly amazing stuff. And you know, what's important, you've probably heard it's a who you know world, and getting in the door is half the battle. And that's very, very true, especially with publishers, because it's really hard to get the attention of an acquisitions editor. So every graduate of my program will have their manuscript presented to an acquisitions editor for consideration. And I will say that in the past, in my last program, 100% of my graduates were published. You can be told more about this in your strategy session, but I just wanted to let you know how incredible this program is. It really is a complete package. This is really a no-brainer. And if you're serious about becoming a successful author, to forward your career as an entrepreneur, and you want to be successful and you want to make a positive impact, then you should apply. The program consists of pre-recorded training calls on a weekly basis and easy to understand written documentation from an exclusive member site that I have, as well as live Q&A calls with me. So you have direct access with a book industry expert. And on each weekly call, I will stay on as long as needed to answer all of your questions. To have somebody who's written close to 60 books or others, who actually created this program, is definitely an added bonus and a wonderful opportunity. So I hope my efforts here today have been fruitful for you. Who here understands the incredible life-changing power that a well-written, high-quality book can do for your career and your life? Who here can see the value in taking this kind of logical approach to writing a book and treating it like a business venture with set goals and effective marketing plan and making sure you're publishing in a way that aligns with your goals? Who here thinks that being able to work with a book expert who can take you by the hand in a step-by-step process and keep you away from the many pitfalls that so many authors are almost 100% certain to fall into? It's very cool, right? You know, book writing is a very complex procedure that is only difficult because it has not been simplified through understanding what needs to be done, which actually then makes it very simple. You know, I've only offered this program a few times over the last 6 or 8 years, and I open it up on a whim. I would love to offer it more, but being as busy as I am, I just can't. So this is a rare opportunity for sure. But remember, once the seats are filled, that's it. And if this is anything like the past, it won't become available again for another 2 or 3 years. This is actually a philanthropic program in the fact that both you and I want to create a big impact, and we can do that together. Isn't that an incredible thought? Thank you for the feedback. You guys keep me going. I didn't plan on having it be this long today, but here we are. So now you have no reason to fail with your book. In fact, you have all the reason now to be extremely successful with your book and in your career by having an impacting book. You have the solution right now. Thousands of authors will continue to fail. That's just the nature of success. But you won't be one of them. So I hope you really enjoyed this event as much as I did. I think we should end off now, and I look forward to going through all of the web forms that have come in, and you still have time to fill out a form if you haven't, and I really appreciate you staying to this extent of the event, and I will see you again soon. Thank you very much.